Welcome to the What's Our Verdict podcast, where we fashion ourselves cinematic judge and jury. My name is JJ Crowder. I'm here with my co-hosts, Matson Heiner.
Better red than dead.
Javier Ortiz.
What is up, my nerds?
And Ian Anderson.
Some shit.
Yeah, you just said it. I love it. Do you ever find yourself wondering if you should spend the time, money, or both on a movie? Well, we're here to answer that question for you. Each week, we put a movie on trial, discuss the facts, pass judgment, and let you know our verdict. To check out our other episodes, if you're joining us on Facebook or watching later on Instagram, you can head to our website by using the link in our bio. If you're on YouTube, you can find the link in the description below. You can also listen to us wherever the fine podcasts are found: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Ghana, just to name a few. And of course, it's always free to do so. This is our spoiler review of the Netflix original Serious Men. It was released October 2nd, 2020. It was written by Niran Bhatt, based on the novel of the same name by Manu Joseph. I'm sorry when I butcher these names, but it's going to happen. It stars Nawazuddin Siddiqui, Akshat Das, Indira Tiwari, Nassar, Shweta Basu Prasad, and Sanjay Narvekar. I know those are completely wrong, so forgive me for that, but
Pretty good.
I tried. This movie is about a man tormented with his underprivileged societal status. I try to be. And he capitalizes on his son's newfound fame as a boy genius. Little does he realize that the secret he harbors will destroy the very thing he loves most. So let's jump right in, guys. Javier, why don't you start us off on this one? Give us your spoiler free. If you're joining us for the first time, we do have our quick little scale. It's 3-tiered. 1, worth it. So it's definitely worth watching. You should go check this out. 2, watch it means if you have nothing better to watch, you're interested in a movie at the time, go ahead and give it a watch. And 3rd, skip it means you just shouldn't watch it. It's not worth it. So with that said, let's jump into Javier. Let's hear what you have to say.
Okay. So I did not like this movie.
Okay.
It is very slow and pretty boring. And there's way too much wife beating for like my taste. I'm not a huge fan of the wife beating topic, and there's just a lot of that. And I think overall, I feel like there's a disconnect between the title of the movie, which is Serious Men, and they explain what Serious Men means, and like the story of the movie, right? So the title kind of makes it seem like it's going to be about this dude and his abusive boss. But the actual story is about his genius son and like the hijinkses that they get into. Well, hijinkses, I make it sound like it's a fun, lighthearted movie. It's not. I'm going to say skip it. I don't think this one is worth watching. If you really want to support Bollywood and like you're on a Bollywood binge, I just think there are better movies, like action movies.
And there we have it.
There it is.
I don't think any of our listeners would be surprised by Javier's synopsis.
I'm just saying Bollywood, they make some awesome action movies. That's all I'm saying.
It's true, they do. Matson, why don't you go?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be a little different than Javier here. Like, if you thought this was an action movie, yeah.
No, I didn't think it was an action movie. I'm not
I know.
crazy.
I'm just saying by your synopsis with the titling, then you're going to be severely disappointed. For me, I did like the thoughts this movie put me through about coming from an underprivileged background and what you would do to improve the life of your son. And honestly, Javier, made me, I don't have kids yet. I thought a lot about my other siblings, but I thought about you and Asen and like, what would you do to make sure little Ace just had the best life possible? And I could see you going to some extreme measures to turning your son. But I just thought it was a really interesting premise about how much a father would give for his son, but it also kind of turned back on him because he wanted it more for himself. So the story for me, I have to be honest, was compelling, but Javier's correct that it's definitely a slow-moving movie overall. I'm gonna say what's our middle option, JJ?
Watch it.
Like, there's definitely worse movies we've seen, much worse in my opinion. So is it worth a watch? Sure. If you're looking for kind of a story about the human condition, about struggling and making more for your family, but also trying to do right by your family. So for that matter, it's worth watching.
So you're saying watch it then?
Yes.
All right. Ian, your turn.
What did the critics say, Ian? And just do the
Hopefully I
opposite
can
of
go
that.
through this without my internet crapping out on me.
Yeah, do your
What-
best.
I should have maybe the critics weren't saying a lot because my is kind of in the middle. I was not expecting to like this movie. I feel like the trailer made me think it was going to be something different than it is. And I think that was a good thing because I came into it not expecting to like it and ended up walking away going like, okay, that was an interesting show. They brought me in. I was kind of tied to the characters and curious what was going to happen and how it all played out. So I'm going to say watch it. That's the middle one, right?
Yes, that is the middle one. All right, so watch it from Ian. That leaves me.
All right, watch it. It is.
Watch it. It is. All right, so I'm gonna be on an island again. On the shocker on this one, right? Here's the thing, guys. I don't know how you found this movie slow. Like I was intrigued from the beginning of this movie. Like there's just so many weird things that happened during this movie that I was like, what am I watching? I do agree with Ian that I was very confused getting into it because the trailer makes it look like something very different than what it actually is. But I was pleasantly surprised. I actually had fun watching this movie until I didn't. There's a couple moments in this movie where it takes a turn and you're like, ooh, this is a little darker than I anticipated it to be. But I was still okay with it because, again, it goes back to very similar for me, like The Devil All the Time, where it covers some very serious topics. And so I was very intrigued by the coverage of those topics. I enjoyed the fact that they didn't shy away from them, and there was some serious crappy stuff that went on in this movie. A lot of people hurting the people that they love. You know, Javier did mention that there's physical abuse. There is some of that, though I don't know that there's as much as it feels like Javier felt like there was.
I was gonna say, Javier. I was like, I think there was like one scene, maybe.
I think they mention it once, and then
It's mentioned like 9 times, dude.
no, it wasn't.
Everyone is beating
No.
their wife or we're threatening children in this
But
movie.
let's remind our audience that Javier is very much okay with a male character just completely demolishing another male character. I don't know what I'm saying. Just edit
are
that
you
out.
saying?
Well, this
We-
is live, so that was weird. But
Okay.
yeah, I don't know. I don't remember ever seeing any of that on screen because I wouldn't have liked to see that either.
No, I don't think we saw it. They just talked about it a lot. Like a
There
lot.
was a mention of a guy that lived in the slum with him where they said he constantly beats his wife, gets drunk and beats his wife. And then there was a mention later of, hey, Bob's beating his wife again, come help at the end.
Yeah,
So-
and what's her name? Like the politician's daughter who's like taking over the party. She has that little limp because her husband went nuts on her.
Yeah. Okay, so
So-
there's 3 mentions. That's not
There's at least one more. And that's like 4 more than I would like.
there you go.
Whatever. I don't know what your tolerance for wife beating is, but mine is 0.
I have
JJ.
0 tolerance for it, but I'm also not afraid to admit that it happens, and so we need to acknowledge that fact. Anyway, so I like the fact that this movie covers heavy topics, and it's discussing what I'm assuming, because I'm not familiar with politics in India, but what I'm assuming is very real issues depending on perspective. So I enjoyed that. I thought there were moments of real fun moments. I thought there were really tender moments. I thought there were some really uncomfortable moments. But overall, I enjoyed this movie. I'm not going to say it's worth it. I didn't think it was like the best movie I've ever seen, but I definitely give it a watch it. So I will add myself to that particular list. So yeah,
This is a perfectly average movie, according to us.
fair
Yeah.
enough. Watch
Yeah.
it, gets the average. And then Javier's the outlier of Skip It. So yeah, thanks for joining us for our spoiler-free review. You can also check this out on YouTube if you missed it here. By the way, go visit our website again. You can see that scrolling at the bottom of the screen there. We appreciate you listening. Check out our deep dive coming up on Monday, the 12th. It'll release 9 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. You can listen wherever podcasts are found, as well as our website. So thanks again for joining us. We appreciate it. Yeah, we'll catch you on the next one.
Bye.
Bye now.